Last time on Dice Fall and Everyone Dies.
Would you like to go to the Harvest Festival?
Yes.
You see him kind of notice something, and he takes and grabs Stano by the hand and carries over to a particular stall. And when you start getting in there, you actually see that what he's looking at is he's actually looking at a very ornate chess set. Stano, do you play?
Yes, I learned to play alongside my older brother.
If I grab this, would you be willing to play a game or two with me in the evenings?
Oh, absolutely. I must warn you, I'm quite ruthless.
At the end of your statement, things kind of fall into a little bit of a silence as he walks you over to where your part of the room is. I shall make my leave, Stano.
You may stay, if you would like.
Works his head to the side a little bit. Are you sure?
Should I have concern?
I have been winged.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Welcome back to Dice Fall and Everyone Dies. I'm your GM Chris, and today let's talk a little bit about the First World. For the mighty and glorious Wimble-Dimble-Fo-Fimble has reliably guided not one, but two Galarian humanoids from the material plane to the First World and back. Not only did they survive, but they also thrived. And what I want to express to you is how just this little bit of taffy downtime has wider ramifications than you might expect when you know a little bit more about what the First World is actually like. As the name implies, the First World is the rough draft material plane used by the gods in Pathfinder. In this protoplane, the gods experimented with natural laws, concepts, biology, and ecology. Many of the progenitor concepts for creatures existed in the First World and have multitudes of benign or deadly variants. And that variation extends to things like geography, materials, energy, space, time. The one rule for the First World is that it is in a constant state of flux, but how did the blank canvas get that way? Like many things in Pathfinder, the answer begins and ends with Pharasma. Near the beginning, after the birth of the gods, those entities needed to figure out a way to divvy up the energies of creation. Their solution was the creation of mortals, but self-directed energy beings capable of arbitrary and emergent order are difficult to make. Just ask Google AI. So, their testing ground was the First World. This is an infinite plane where the ideas needed to make reality were alpha and beta tested. And once the gods had their design, they didn't destroy the First World, but they overwrote it like a painter would a sketch. This did some funny things for the very still alive creatures in the First World. Firstly, to give that plane energy, it needed to be malleable, that had to be cosmologically located to the fonts of emergent positive energy. Everything, while strange, was deep and vibrant with that life energy. And so then once the material plane was created and the cycle of souls implemented, those very vibrant souls in the First World were cut off and excluded. The bright side is that it meant that those souls were essentially immortal, but then they were also abandoned by their gods. So, what do sapient, powerful creatures with practical immortality and a grudge do when being cut off from their creators in a land where if your will is literally strong enough, you can shape existence? Did you say replicate being a god yourself? You know, that's actually not too far off in a lot of cases. The First World is infinite, and it's much like if you took the concept of a multiverse, squished it all down into one plane, and then allowed it to ramble on forever in all directions. So with that context, what does it mean when Wimble-Dimble-Fo-Fimble can guide two wayward souls from the material plane into that First World, and then out again? Well, I'll leave you to ponder that one. And while you do, leave your theories in the comments section of our Facebook page, and leave some likes and subscribes to the podcast. Doing so helps Google and the platforms spread the word. Now, let's get back to our party here at the start of the month of Neth, and see about this beginning of a new chapter to their adventures, Welcome back to Dice Fall and Everyone Dies. We are here on our, I believe, 21st session, coming in the 40s on our episodes with everyone right after we've done our one-on-one sessions And I hope everyone is feeling good since our last recording. Zach, how are you doing today?
COVID free.
Oh, excellent. And Jules, how are we doing over there?
Caffeinated and also COVID free, thank God.
Most wonderful. Shay, how are you doing?
Diet COVID.
Oh my god.
Diet COVID, is that the flu?
No, it's just vaguely allergies because a storm came in.
Ah, yeah. The Sahara decided it wanted to share its dust with the rest of the world.
I'm talking about the fucking rain.
That too. And Sid, how are we doing today?
Also COVID free, but sleep deprived because baby kitten.
Yes, we just got a third cat here at the house.
Is it from the same litter that the cat that Jules and I got is
It
from?
is. And,
His name is Gadget.
yes.
Oh, he's the other little boy, so he's already a chunky man.
Yeah, he's got a little bit, he's definitely got his little kitten fat. He enjoys being placed on his back and then rubbing his belly. And then he just...
Who doesn't?
Oh, no, that's so
he
cute.
snoozes. When we were picking him up yesterday and, making sure that we were there for a bit, we got the scent on each other. And Sid had the little guy in her arms and he just had his paws up above his head. He was fully splayed out.
Those
and
cute little pink pea paws.
Oh,
It looks like he stepped in oil or something, so part of why he's named Gadget.
yeah, because instead of purely little pink ones, he's got like little black spots.
Oh.
Little baby.
Yes. And so we are adjusting to the wonderfulness of another fur-producing love machine in the house.
No, y'all needed more fur in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything wasn't entirely coated yet.
Yeah. It's not like my dogs, get all up in my grill every time I come back.
Same.
See, it just gives us, an understanding of exactly how Greaves and Luna would basically be reacting.
Oh, yeah, Luna's gonna be... Oh, no, you took Luna with you, didn't
I
you?
did.
Oh.
Yes.
So
I
Taffy...
took your man. I didn't.
Stato did some taking of the man, too.
I didn't, actually. And I had first crack, and I should have.
Yes, so we did each of the sessions separated from each other. Everyone had their own solo sessions, but, the walls are not necessarily the thickest in the room. So I know that there was probably some bleed over from the sessions themselves. Why don't we go ahead and do a quick summary of what you would each person would like to share from their solo session with the party. Let's go ahead and start with the one who got laid the most. So, how'd Stano? How did hers go?
I think she and Alec are a thing now?
Well, they were stooping for at least a couple weeks.
Oh, stooping.
I don't
So-
like stooping. I don't like that word.
Stoop kid's afraid to leave a stoop.
But she's also... Jesus Christ.
That is an old joke.
But it's always in my mind, so
Yeah.
it's not that old to me.
Stoop kid. Yeah, so, that was a good thing, but then she also had a manner of bad things come via mail. And she is a very angry person right now.
I know she got super organized, a lot of making deals, getting aligned with the town, and then just this wonderful encounter during a festival. And, it seemed like Stano had a bright spot of, pleasure and happiness in between.
And then her ex came back into the picture.
So how about Demos?
He was just sad the entire time. Damn. You were determined. He got laid, but he's probably not going to do it again. And he is starting to get back into the Gojran stuff.
You did have a weird encounter with an old man.
Yeah, he definitely did. It's a very strange old man.
What kind of encounter?
Is
It-
Demos' bathing suit square okay?
Oh, he's fine, but it was more like the old man knew way too much about his past. Way too much.
So what you're saying is it was just Gojra.
Probably.
Oh.
It's possible.
And then Kazalin, how would you sum up your time?
Well, I guess he was responsible for Alec's arm breaking, and I ate a lot of pie.
So much pie.
More pie than a half orc, because, of course. And
You got Alec's arm broken?
Yeah,
yeah, that was...
that was the thing.
Oh yeah, we heard about it.
He
because
fell from
our stories
60
were
feet.
after.
after being chased by
Oh, he's fine now.
by a magma dragon.
He's fine.
The fuck? My visit with him into the first world was a fucking holiday, it sounds like.
Yeah, tell us about that. What happened?
We went to the first world. I learned magic. I almost charmed him into sleeping with me, but then I thought better of it because that's terrible and you don't do that.
Tafaxio Daxi.
But I slipped into his dreams and,
She didn't even bone him in his dreams. That was the amazing part. I was so proud of my now fully chaotic good gnome.
Oh, damn.
Does
I
time
was so
travel-
worried about the eyes.
Does time pass differently in the first world?
Yes.
It can.
And you took Luna with you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is Luna now older than Greaves?
Yeah.
A little bit.
What?
About 2 weeks. Luna's a little bigger now.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. We were only gone for like a day.
Oh, okay.
So the beautiful part is that of the two, Luna was essentially kind of the runt to start off with, but now the two are the same size because of that. Couple more weeks of growth on there. It's kind of brought the two in par to each other.
And seemingly it happened overnight.
They gonna start talking soon?
Hmm?
They gonna start talking soon? Need more
Oh,
NPC
yeah.
voices?
Oh man, that is going to be fun.
Babies.
Well, because they were a couple weeks old when y'all first got a hold of them, and we now find ourselves towards the first third of the month of Neff, so which is very close to like November. And for
When would you say that we first got them? Like what month?
so y'all got them in the month of Rova. So Rova is much like September.
Oh, okay.
And so y'all got them in Rova, and y'all have been through Lamashan, which is kind of like October. And then with everything that's been going on, the walls and battlements are being completed. Pip and Zarf have been riding the equivalent of about 3-month-old, we'll say 4-month-old wolves at this point. It's they are beginning to get kind of big. So by comparison, this would be probably about what you would consider for the size of a Saint Bernard. It's probably about the growth rate you'd be looking at.
Big puppy.
Like a full-grown Saint Bernard at this point?
They would be probably an adolescent, so it would probably be about the size of a 6-month-old Saint Bernard.
Okay.
So, because we do know that wargs are significantly bigger than standard wolves, and they have a growth trajectory that's still very much like canines, but they live for a lot longer. As y'all have been interacting with them, y'all can definitely tell that they pick up language and cues that, if you take Braxton, for instance, he just doesn't. And so, you could say a complex sentence like, hey, go take this file over to Alec down the hall. And then Greaves would basically take it, and she would take it by the tape side that, you'd have there so that she'd be able to pick it up without actually drooling on the paperwork. And then it would be trot, 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 trot. And then, would pause up, push open the door, and then bring it over to where Alec's little desk is that y'all have set up for his
So what
duties.
you're saying is Thanos had Greaves admin assisting as an admin assistant.
You've
Great
considered it
decipher.
part of her training.
Yeah.
And Luna would be running around assisting Taffy with different things like spell components and, figuring out like different parts and
Acrobatics.
smells. Acrobatics. You're very surprised at how acrobatic this dog is, having worked with Pib as often as he has, or she has.
Are the wargs taking on the personalities of Taffy, and like is Luna taking on maybe
More
a little bit
chaotic
of,
good.
and then Greaves is taking on more of a
Stern.
boring.
Fuck you.
So there's fun counterpoints to that. So the thing that you kind of notice about the two of the wargs is that when you're least thinking about it, they're just kind of suddenly gone. And then that's when you hear stories about Greaves, Luna, Pib, and Zarf gallivanting around town. So most of the time they're running around the Pickled Ear. And that's because Pib and Zarf are making a wonderful, lucrative business out of their newfound art form of beatboxing. They keep trying to find new ways to innovate to keep people in at Roxy's Tavern because she keeps trying to come up with the weirdest forms of pickle recipes just to see exactly what she can get away with to keep these kobolds bringing customers in the door.
So, we had discussed an option at the Lamashun Festival,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked it up. You can pickle apples.
Yes.
Not only can you pickle apples, you do it in a mixture of sugar and apple cider vinegar and such. You can then make pickled apple pie with them. And it's apparently very, very good.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
I think,
like zesty apple pie.
from my understanding, it was one of the bases for like the old school Dutch apple pies, right?
Possibly, I don't know. I found a recipe for it, though.
And so that was the kind of pie that Pib, Zarf, and Roxy were working on to go ahead and bring to the festival. And while y'all were going through, especially during the Jester Cap Day, during Lamashun, which is very similar to like the festive style of Halloween over here on the Earth side, y'all were very surprised to see that somehow there were roving gangs of children dressed up as kobolds and wargs, forming little packs, running around, partaking in the festivities, going from space to space.
Mm-hmm.
They called themselves the Wrecking Crew.
Oh.
Is there anything that the adults in the party want to do about that?
Why bother?
Stana
Okay.
might have a slightly stern talking to with Graves. Be like, you cannot destroy things. You cannot cause too much chaos. You have to be upstanding. You need to be a symbol and someone to look up to.
And then that's when Grease just kind of noses over towards Luna. And then Luna noses over towards Zarf.
No.
And noses over towards Pib. And Pib just kind of shrugs his shoulders up. What?
No. You're not all going to look at somebody else and assume that they're going to take the fall for it. You are all responsible for your own behavior. Yes, Graves, that includes you.
Where's Luna? Come get some candy.
Taffy!
And then they're gonna take the chalk and go graffiti something.
Oh, no.
Chalk is great spell components. Let's go, Zarf. And they book it.
All right, Graves, go on.
You know Taffy would be right in the thick of that shit.
And then it was a couple days later, you happened to find a small mural on a side of the keep around not quite where the secret door down into the goblin area is, but this wonderful rainbow mural probably 30, 40 feet away from it. That's basically this giant pastoral sort of setting where you've got little, what you think are gnomes and what you think are goblins and a bunch of little warg puppies running under a set of clouds and rainbows on the side and all sorts of festive colors.
Oh, well.
And these are some of the bits that are going on during the more pleasant times kind of in between. Y'all have also gotten, at least while not everything is signed over yet, at least access to Voz's shop to be able to begin looking through what's going on there. For wanting to have an Assassin's Guild, you can definitely tell that she was at least meticulous when it came to her inventories. And so you can pretty quickly sort through that a lot of the material you have are eclectic histories, things translated into multiple languages. A lot of it almost conspiratorial style of stuff. And almost an odd fascination on military histories until you realize that maybe that was the cover she was using to get a hold of records for a couple different things that you see in her journal notes. A lot of the inventory you can tell is a lot of times tangentially related to things that she has either in the margin of various books or related to her particular journal finding. And I know one of the things that Taffy was wanting to cover was she did a lot of work initially with Trino, but she also wanted to make sure that she got some time to take a look at the structure, the Ayadara that's there. And so I don't believe we rolled for that. We have rolled to see that we know that something's wrong. But before we move on to something very interesting for Stano and Demos, let's go ahead and see what's going on with Taffy's exploration of, from what you can tell, is something that you think might be called Hunter's Gate.
20.
So with when you begin examining, you can tell that there's no physical damage to the gate itself. But anytime that you begin bringing the arrowhead towards it, and when you touch the arrowhead to the gate, you're getting a kind of an interrupting pulse come from the gate. And when you touch it, a fiery red swirl fills the entire archway of this gate and then immediately shuts itself off whenever you're touching that. And you think you may be able to get them aligned, but you're probably going to need a little bit more time to kind of get that energy going. But you've got a pretty good idea that you can, since there's no physical damage to the gate, that you can use the arrowhead and probably since it's Brett's arrowhead to get the apparatus properly aligned. But you'll probably need another day to let the energies settle out and reset before you get back into it.
Okay, she tells us to Brett.
Does Kazlin want to help her the next time?
Yeah, he will.
And for Kazlin, so you've been working diligently to get contacts laid out for your efforts in the Bellflower Network. And working with the wonderful halfling proprietor of Quarters and Bits, you actually have some of your first walkers of the garden path coming through this area. You know that they've had a fairly rough journey on the way up. They apparently hit some trouble on 2 of the cities on the way up, so they are a bit more beleaguered than what you would normally have expected them to. So you think you're probably going to need to get a lot more inroads made into those towns with some of the contacts you've been developing to try to get those areas a little bit safer, or at least try to get someone on making them safer. Maybe either find a merchant or some other type of contact. You did have an interesting conversation with one of the Vusker brothers over at the place who does carton wheels.
One of the Vusker husbands?
Yes. And he has expressed an interest in being able to assist individuals if they happen to be needing express travel from the river to Breachill. And so after, a little innuendo that was kind of going back and forth, you think that you could rely on him to take care of these new travelers coming along the Garden Way. And then for Deimos,
Yes.
so the Shayla Knights have been more than willing to share temple space with you, because they do have a couple of these cursory books about the Gozran faith. It's kind of like one of those. They have how can art lead you to better fulfillment with the gods? Draw your way to happiness. Magic hands, magic heart.
Chicken soup for the art soul?
Exactly. Or art soup for the chicken soul.
Yeah, this sounds like Shaylights.
Yeah.
And then, and you still have your copy from the old man, which is the old man in the sea.
What?
Yeah.
And so you've been...
Hashtag not sponsored.
By Ernest Hemingway?
Yeah.
Not sponsored by Ernest Hemingway. Just so you know.
And so you spent a little bit of time around the Shayla Knights, it's been a bit convenient because aside from picking up a little bit of the town gossip that you have going around, because you have a bunch of merchants coming in, since this is the Craft and Artisan Guild, as well as being a holy space for Shayla Knights, you did hear that, suddenly Vuskers was coming up with like this really unusual cart dimension, and he was working with like an inventor to try to get some specific space set up for this to see if he can find a way to get carts to ride better over the types of roads that were coming across so that things were a bit smoother. Then you also heard that there was a lot of push coming from one of the stonemason companies, the one that your group is working with, specifically because there's just some really weird parts of those battlements that need to get fixed. There was a lot of damage done on there, and someone's just like, and there was this really great rainbow mural that was on there, but it was all done in chalk.
What?
It was really weird. It's very, very surprising.
Wonder where we got all that chalk.
I know.
Never seen
Wonder where.
colored chalk?
Oh, that was my invention.
Oh, so
Okay,
you did
so
it.
Well, I don't have the chalk, but I invented it.
we see.
Mhm.
She winks at Brett.
Mhm.
Badly.
Badly.
And Brett just, well, Caslin goes, just, and just nods.
It's okay. I
Squints
see where
his
this came
eyes
from.
and just,
Oh, I don't have time for the two of you right now.
Why, it's a great business venture. Don't you want in on the ground floor?
Are you rebuilding the Citadel? Are you handling the day-to-day administrations?
Okay, but listen, what if we had all this money from selling stuff? Specifically, really cool chalk.
You could make a fortune selling it to Shayla Knights.
Oh my
You have an eye for this. You have the brain. Come into our organization.
Cousin,
And-
you don't even like me. What are you offering? This?
Okay, I may not think you're the coolest person ever made, but
Ever made? That's weirdly specifically worded.
you have a certain prowess that could lead us to fortune.
Taffy's gonna walk up
So you're a business lady.
to Steno and just pat her on the leg or whatever she can reach.
The hip.
Hip. I think you're pretty cool.
Thank you, Taffy.
You should join us. There's
You just
money.
need an investor, don't you?
And an accountant. Greaves, hush.
Just put the paperwork on the desk. I'll handle it.
Well, that's the thing. It's not really a lot of paperwork yet. I'm not really sure how to do that.
So you are just needing the... Listen, give it a few weeks. I'll have family here. Don't worry.
Okay.
More of you? Never mind. Great.
Do you want my assistance with this or not?
Yes.
Whatever.
Nailed it.
Taffy reaches up her hand.
And while Demos is making all of these wonderful connections at the Shayla Knight Guild, give me a society check.
Okie doke. Let's get this thing flat first. Society. Oh no. Okay, so 11. You betrayed me, Mr. Dice.
So you're listening and you're trying to kind of come up with a bit of a tune. You're in their music room, kind of doing a little bit of a jam session with a couple of the other folks who are hitting some of the bars. This is almost like a little bit of a hostel room that you're in as well, but they have instruments on, not quite display, but definitely ready for use of anyone who happens to be hit with the muse of their heart at any point. And as your back is, toward the door at this point, and then someone comes up and on your shoulder.
Oh boy.
Nicodemus Patrocles.
He's just gonna freeze. Like, I'm worried. Yes? He's not even gonna turn around.
You are a difficult man to find.
Am I going to die? Is that what's going on?
Your mother would be a bit remiss if we brought back only a body.
Oh, that's not fun. Okay.
What do you want to do?
Obviously get up and turn around, because rando stranger.
So as you get up and turn around, you see a dusky complexioned man of a little bit higher height, and give me another society check.
18.
You recognize that he happens to have a very discreet pin up towards his shoulder, the right shoulder. It happens to be that of a falcon, but it is not one of the silver falcons that you would be used to that are aligned with the Navy. It is a bird with a midnight type of stone material, maybe obsidian, maybe some other, but you recognize that it is the symbol of a Twilight Knight from Andoran.
Great.
You know that the Twilight Knights are the espionage wing of the Andoran military.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Did my mom send you?
You have been a missing persons case for the last 4 months.
Hey, I told them where I would. Well, I sort of told them where I was going. Do I really count as missing?
It took us a while to find your first letters.
Okay, but I sent them. That was the point.
You forgot postage, Demos.
Just like giving him this very pained look, like, well, I tried.
So Demos just took this letter and dropped it off and didn't put a stamp on it?
I mean, how often does he
Mail
send out?
fraud.
Or like he's like, hey, I'll make it somewhere. Bye.
That worked for the first letter that you sent, considering you were still on an Andoran ship. After that, it got a bit fuzzier. Do you know why it took us 4 months to find you, Demos?
Why?
Because of all of the information that you let slip in every one of your letters back to your family. Postage is a bitch, Demos.
Okay, so it took you a long time.
We had to
because
clean
I
up
gave-
your mess.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't all mine. It was just sort of mine. Sort of my mess. Sort of.
And now we find you in a trite little village out in the hinterlands near the border of Druma, playing your lyre. What on Golarion are you doing here?
Live in here, I guess. And trite. That's so mean. They're really nice people, okay?
I'm sure. Are you coming with us or not?
No, I'm staying here.
Nicodemus, we think that this is not necessarily the wisest option.
Yeah, well, I've got stuff going on here, so you can chill. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, chill.
Then we will chill for, let's be generous, 5 days, and then we will utilize our forceful extraction order.
Jesus Christ, who sent you?
I answered that question for you already, Nicodemus.
Great. Cool. See you in 5 days then. Bye. He's gonna escort himself out as quickly as possible.
Give me a perception check.
Ooh, 20, so 30.
You're pretty sure you're being tailed,
Yeah, that's so.
and it's not by the person who was talking to you.
Oh, that's somehow worse.
So, are you going to lead him back to the Citadel?
God, no.
What are you going to do? You want to try to shake him?
Yeah, we're gonna just wander around to a bunch of fun places. Go to, like, Quarters and Bits and junk.
Alright, so you go to Quarters and Bits. What are you going to do at Quarters and Bits?
And just mill around, staring at stuff, talk to the people.
Alright, go ahead and give me, we'll treat this as a society challenge. Give me a society check.
20 again, so 30 in total.
So you hang out in Quarters and Bits, and just as the throng of folks coming in to do their general wares, you kind of apply a little bit of the technique you learned from Stano and how she was making sure that she got appropriate service while she was there. And you bullied your way through the back, out the back end of Quarters and Bits into one of the alleys. And so you have created a space. Now, the question is how do you want to go about getting to where you want to go next?
There's always the tunnel through.
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say
that's what I was just thinking. Maybe that is quite the walk, though. He's going to be missing for a while. Quite walk at a weird angle.
Well, you know that you could probably run to get over to Rosie's place.
Let's do it.
All right. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
16.
So you begin moving from alley to alley to try to get up through up to Rosie's place. Kazlin, give me an underworld lore check.
22.
So the disturbance that happened at Quarters at Bits gets to your ears pretty quickly, especially considering that they are one of your primary contacts for the Bellflower Network. And they were very surprised when Deimos basically bolts out the back door after pressing one of the folks for some service. And they basically said that he was running, he bolted out the back and looked like he was keeping towards the alleys. What would you like to do?
I'm going to set Deimos as my hunted prey and track
Great.
him.
All right, give me the survival check.
That's a natural 20.
All right. So when you get word of this, you can see as you are employing your wonderfully adept Drake, who has made his own several sets of roosts across town at this point, as you are going about tracking him. How did you want to go about tracking Deimos?
I want to, I guess, follow the path he made through Quarters and Bits and out the back door and look for footprints, look for any disturbed stuff that looks like somebody went one direction over the other, and then just follow the trail, I guess.
And so you feel like you're quickly making up time as you see the different signs of something having passed through alleys that you've become exceedingly familiar with along the way. And then, Damos, give me a perception check.
30.
So
Doing great here.
it is about 30 feet away when you see Kazlin round the corner and then look directly at you.
Well, that's safe. Perfect. You just bolt straight for him.
So Demos comes up. What do you tell him?
What does who tell who?
What does Demos tell Kazlin?
Okay, there's someone following me. I don't know who it is, and it wasn't the dude that just talked to me.
I'm gonna draw both weapons: my newfound dueler's blade and the striking scimitar.
Nice.
All right, let's take care of this mess.
No, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if stabbing it's a good idea.
Stabbing is usually a good idea.
Okay, the point is I want to get back up to the Citadel, but I don't want them to follow me there.
Okay. All right, come on. And stows his blades, begins doing a stealth things.
All right. So
Kazlin just really wanted to stab someone today.
All right. Who has the better stealth bonus?
I have a plus 11.
I have an 8, so...
So Demos can follow the expert in stealthing across if you want to go that way. And so that will mean that Kazlin makes the stealth check for both of y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can I set the person who's following us as my prey?
Give me a perception check to see if you can spot a sign.
I don't think hunt prey. I don't think I have to see them. I think I just have to know that they're there. I just has to be tracking them. So
yeah.
If I just...
I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm saying give me your roll.
Oh, okay. What did you say? What skill is that you want? Perception?
So yeah, it's perception.
17.
You can't tell from where, but you very much feel like you're being watched.
Okay.
You've done enough watching of people that you've been out in the woods, kind of around the area. You can kind of get a feel of when someone's watching you. You can't tell exactly from where, but you know someone's watching you.
Okay. Well, what I want to do is I want to set them as my target,
Mhm.
and then using Outwit, I can add a bonus to my stealth.
Do it.
Okay. 17.
So you begin following a different set of alleys along the way. During this time, it looks like you're about to pass Vaz's old bookshop, where you know Taffy has been using that as a temporary study. Do you want to stop there to get Taffy's input?
Yeah. We'll go through the hidden door in the back.
So you get to the door, and Taffy, would you lock the back door?
No, because nobody else knows it's there except for my friends.
So y'all zip into the back door, and Taffy, you now find both Kazlind and Damos looking not quite out of breath, but they got that little glisten of sweat going on their brow while you have been studying different ways that you can properly align the energies of gateways. There was an odd amount of gateway lore, surprisingly, within the stash here. It's like someone was preparing to try to understand more about them. So you have Demos and Kazlin busting in on your reading time.
A little bit out of breath.
Okay, what's going on?
Someone's following me. And
Okay, well, good news. Where do we, so we're going, hold on. Where are you trying to go?
back up to the Citadel, because that seams safer.
Are you going through the pickled ear?
I could.
Are the stairs already fixed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go with pickled ear.
Okay.
How far away is it from Vaz's shop? Like, how many minutes?
So Vaz's shop is probably about 10 minutes away.
Okay, guys, get your stuff. And she's gonna pick up all her packs and everything like that. Get a drink, get anything you need. But, because when we get moving, if we stop, we're gonna be out of time and they're gonna see us.
Can I express how much I love that everybody he's told I'm being followed, no one went, by fucking who?
We've been in a lot of sticky situations at this point. It's just best to ask questions later.
Yeah.
Alright, so what you going to do, Tabby?
So I'm gonna cast, once we're out, just about to step out of the shop, I'm gonna cast Invisibility Sphere, it's a 3rd level spell. You guys have to stay within 10 feet of me, and we have to move together as a group. If anybody makes a hostile action towards anybody else, it breaks the spell. But while exploring, we can use this up to 10 minutes. So, yeah, we'll use this and get all the way up to the pickled ear.
Deimos is going to grab onto her hand.
Well, how about Taffy maybe gets on my shoulder, and then I'll grab Deimos on the shoulder, and that way we're like all in one like unit, so we
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, that would work. And then Luna's just on the other side of you.
Instead of just doing paperwork back.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, so Steno, I see Greaves is out gallivanting around again.
Oh no.
Everyone's gone from the keep. Can we get those baths installed like we were talking about?
Most likely, but it's still. I still need to speak with a wizard about it. I need to essentially have the create water spell. Are you insinuating something? Because I'm up to my neck in paperwork.
I see. Let me go ahead and take this stack of reports over this way and complete them for you.
That. It goes on the other table.
I think I'll get to work.
There's a system.
You know, that explains the reason the last time we used ropes.
Don't like that.
Okay.
All right, Caslin.
That's the last episode that Shay was on Dicefall. Thanks, everybody.
Caslin, I need you to give me a stealth check with an additional +10.
Damn.
For invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me a natural 23 right now.
Yep.
So 28. Why am I rolling so terribly now? Whatever.
It doesn't
28.
matter. You've already
28.
got 23.
Give me a perception check.
Oh, no.
Can I help?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm. Every one of y'all can give me a perception check.
13.
God damn it.
Pick a different dice, dude. That thing hates you.
24.
19.
So, Taffy, one of the things you notice is your invisibility sphere going through. It's keeping all of y'all nice and tight, but there are different parts along the way where you have to kind of engage with the crowd where there's not an alleyway that's there. And it's in those points that you can swear you feel like you're being watched. You know they're not. You know they can't see exactly where you're at, but it's one of those where you can tell because Luna will be like, she'll get that low.
Luna, where's it at?
She kind of points her head up in the kind of the behind, kind of left behind direction.
Keep an eye on it. When we get to the shop, something's gonna happen.
And so right before
She says it really soft, obviously.
And so right before you get to the pickle deer, you feel the last ebbing of your spell about to give away. And how do y'all want to enter the pickle deer?
So there's a back door, right?
Y'all never went to find one, but you think there should be.
We'll waste the spell if we do that. She's just gonna encourage Deimos to she's gonna get right up to the door, and essentially have Deimos go in under the invisibility spell so that he can't be seen going in.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's gonna have Kaz drop her on the ground or set her on the ground, and she's gonna have Luna see if she sees where the person is watching them from, and if they're still watching.
Give me a perception check.
It's another 24.
From what you can tell, you think that they're probably 20 yards back off. You think there may be someone gazing in the direction of the pickle deer more intently from one of the alleyways.
She's gonna march towards that alleyway.
Okay. So
By herself. She doesn't, by herself. She's not gonna take Luna.
you get over towards that alleyway.
No, she is gonna take Luna, sorry. She will.
And so you begin marching a little bit against the traffic presently in that area. And from what you can tell, it looks like your motion was noticed, and then that figure kind of disappears in the alleyway.
Luna, can you track him?
Do you have the ability to do that?
Does Luna?
Luna has the scent ability, that is true. But remember, she's learning all of her tracking from her mother. And Caslin, you see the gnome walk off towards an alley. What do you want to do?
I'm going to sort of nudge Deimos inside.
Well,
Go.
yeah, I
Go.
wouldn't leave unless Deimos was already inside.
Oh. So Deimos. So we're outside. Deimos is inside. Is the
Yep.
door shut?
Yeah.
It is now, yeah.
Okay.
And you saw...
I'll just go back up Taffy.
Excellent.
She's gonna look up to Kaz. Can you track that dude or person?
I think right now it's best to leave it for another time.
Well, my thought is if we keep them off his trail, he can get home.
we haven't been able to actually see him, so we don't know if he is on his trail right now.
Can we see Luna? Can you smell him or see him or sense where he's from? So that's a no.
And she basically points y'all towards the alley.
Okay. So the last known area was the alley.
And if so, who has the better survival between the two of you?
Probably me.
Oh, it's gonna definitely be him.
So, Kaslin, you could make your survival check on your hunted prey with an additional +4 for Luna's scent capacity. She's not perfect at doing the scent, but she can assist you significantly in doing it.
23.
So you kind of help guide Luna to the initial spot of where you would think someone would be able to do the scent. And then that's when y'all begin, you can tell that she's caught it. She's still kind of young and inexperienced and sometimes gets pulled off to the scent a little bit. And you're like, no, Luna, back over to here. This is where this kind of trail leads. And you feel like you get that you're probably maybe a step or two behind them at this point. Then an obstacle pops up.
Oh, fun.
That's when you come across something you weren't expecting to see in one of these back alleys. It seems as though someone's exceedingly large iguana pet is resting in a sunspot in the alley. This thing is about the size of a large hog, taking up the alley itself, but it looks like it is sleeping. You could try to sneak past it, or you could attempt to maybe create a diversion.
Can I not jump over it?
You could, well, that would be part of sneaking past it.
Oh, are we still sneaking? Well,
because you think that if you just kind of go up to it and through it, it's not quite the size of a Growlodon, but it's not that far off. It's got less spikes.
okay. All right, well, we can sneak by it, maybe.
Taffy's gonna shout, "Hey, wake up!"
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
All right, so you look at it and its eye pops open and it's looking directly at you.
She's gonna cast Enthrall and start singing to it.
All right, go ahead
Needs
and
to make a will save.
and your DC is?
21.
So it fails its save, and it is now enthralled by you.
She's gonna gesture to Kaz to keep going.
All right, so you're going to have Kaz and Luna go off. What are you going to do with your enthralled large pet iguana? It's big enough that you could probably ride it like Braxton if you really wanted to.
She's gonna talk to it in soothing tones, she's gonna sing to it in soothing tones, a lullaby, and hope that it goes to sleep.
Can she get information from something like this when it's enthralled? I know it's an animal, but...
Sometimes, if it can properly understand language.
She can ask, do you speak?
It's gonna be a no.
Solid math.
Can you go to sleep for me? Can I pat you behind your eye ridges? I don't know if that's a good sound or a bad sound.
It raises its head up and kind of exposes like one of its back dorsals a little bit.
She scritches. And she's gonna slowly kind of back away.
Do you want to get to the other side of it so you can continue behind Bread?
That's probably a better idea. So she's gonna go the other way. She's gonna skirt around it, scritching along the eye ridges, and slowly back away.
It's in love with you and follows you.
It thinks you're amazing.
So now it is just scrabbling along.
Are these things fast?
It's as fast as Taffy.
So not remarkably, but some.
So it's keeping up. How long does your spell last for?
It's sustained.
Are you going to stop using your spell? You basically enthralled the lizard-like creature and then gave it petsies.
She's gonna cast command.
Ooh. What are you going to command it to do?
Go back home and go to sleep.
Okay.
Oh, it's will.
What's the critical failure?
The target must use all its actions on its next turn to obey my command.
So, as soon as you give it the command as it starts following you, it kind of bolts upright and you see it kind of get on all four legs and its head's fully up in the air and it's got its head turned and it's got the one eye kind of looking at you a little bit. And then it immediately whips around and it's climbing up the side of the alleyway kind of up over, and you see it kind of bound over a couple, and you realize like its owner is like 3 or 4 houses away. It somehow got out, and it's going back to apparently its favorite rock perch that it considers its home. Oddly enough, you see that it happens to be one of the rookery places for little Dago.
Oh,
Cute.
Dago. Fly up. See if you can find out who this person is.
All right, give me a perception check.
Natural 20.
Nice.
So Dago goes up, and you see him kind of zoom and soar around, and then he flips back down to you, and about this point, Taffy catches up, and Dago claws at your jerkin 5 times.
God damn it. I don't know what that means. Squawk.
Give me a handled animal.
Oh, I don't have
Part of your survival.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Another natural 20.
You're pretty sure he just told you that there are 5 people in the area, and you're on the tail of at least one of them.
Jesus hell.
Who are you?
Taffy, I don't think we're winning this fight today.